Mordred was walking down one of the hallways in Chaldea, minding her own business. As she did, it was then she overheard about a certain topic. "Say, have you decided something on what to get for your father on Father's Day?" one staff member of Chaldea asked. "I do actually. In fact, I was planning on asking for some time off to spend some time with him," another staff member of Chaldea replied. "I see. Well, have fun with that." "Yeah, I will." As Mordred passed by the two staff members who were having a conversation, Mordred couldn't help but feel a little guilt inside of her, especially after thinking about her past with Arturia. Father's Day? Well, to be fair, I did sort of expect a holiday like this after hearing about Mother's Day a month ago, and it's the same. As the thought came into her head, images of Arturia appeared in her head along with the Battle of Camlin in her head, and it made her feel sick in her stomach. Not only that, but the exchange of words that were said during that battle haunted her as well. "This is the end of your kingdom, King Arthur. Face the consequences for not recognizing me as king." Arturia didn't say anything but readied herself for a fight. "Is it hate? Do you hate me? You hate because I was born to a witch?" Arturia didn't say anything. "Answer me, Arthur." The two swung their swords at each other, with Arturia losing her sword in the clash. "I have never hated you. If you wanted to know why I didn't give you the throne," Arturia said as she brought her lance and lunged towards Mordred, stabbing her, "it was because you don't have the capacity of a king." Mordred's helmet shattered as she said her last word. There. Mordred shook her head to get rid of the images that appeared in her head. "Geez, not these images again. Just how long will they continue to haunt me?" She thought before she dismissed those thoughts in her head and continued walking down the hallway. As she continued to walk down the hallway, she kept hearing people talking about Father's Day. Eventually, she gave in and began to think about buying something for Arturia and her counterparts. "Well, I suppose I could buy something for Father and her counterparts. After all, our relationship has improved, somewhat I suppose." Mordred then sat down on a nearby bench and then began to think of a gift to give to Arturia and her counterparts. "What should I get? What should I get?" she muttered to herself as she was going through her thoughts in her head. Eventually, she couldn't think of anything, grabbed her head, and started scratching her head. "Damn it! I can't think of anything," she exclaimed in frustration while sighing in defeat. "Geez, I can't believe it's this hard just to even think a gift for Father and her counterparts." As Mordred was struggling thinking about a gift to give for Arturia and her counterparts, it was then a certain person who could be considered the greatest help to Mordred arrived. Emiya Shirou, also known as Mordred's mother. "HM? Mordred? What are you doing?" Mordred let out a smile as her greatest help has arrived. "Great! Mother's here. The one person who knows her better than all of us in the Knights of the Round. This an opportunity one cannot pass up," Mordred thought as she got off the bench she was sitting on. "Hey Mother, I need your help with something." "Help? With what?" Shirou asked. "Well, you know a holiday known as Father's Day, right?" "HM? Yeah. And let me guess, you're trying to think of a gift for Arturia and her counterparts. Correct?" Mordred let out a small sigh. "Yeah. Which lies the biggest problem I'm having right now. I can't figure out a gift to her and her counterparts. Do you have any idea of what to give to Father and her counterparts?" Shirou gave Mordred's question some thought. After a few seconds of thinking, Shirou let out a sigh while shaking his head. "I'm sorry Mordred, but I can't think of anything for you to give to your father and her counterparts." Mordred was shocked upon hearing Shirou's words. "Eh? But how? You practically spend most of your time with Father and her counterparts." Not to mention the fact that you used to be her master in your timeline's Holy Grail War. You could have at least some idea on what to give to them. And I do, which is the main problem. Mordred was slightly confused with Shirou's words. What do you mean by that? Well, let me tell you this. I think I've exhausted my options of what to give to your father and her counterparts. At that moment, Mordred realized what Shirou's earlier words meant. Oh. So we're out of options on what to give to father and her counterparts. Yeah. I mean, I've already gave Arturia and her counterparts the stuff they loved, which includes a lion plushie and, well, a giant feast of food. Mordred let out a large laugh. Well, what can you expect? Father and her counterparts love your cooking after all. Maybe I should probably wrap you in a box and present you as a gift to them for Father's Day, she said jokingly. Shirou let out a chuckle. Please don't. And plus, I would probably see Merlin, Proto-Merlin, Mom, or maybe even Da Vinci doing that. Upon hearing Shirou's words, Mordred then thought about Shirou's words and created a mental image of either Merlin, Proto-Merlin, Irisveal, or Da Vinci presenting Arturia and her counterparts Shirou as a gift for them. As the image came into her head, Mordred started to laugh uncontrollably. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, you're right. Any of the people you mentioned earlier would do that. Ha 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 ha. Having enough of Mordred's laughter, Shirou quickly gently bonked Mordred on the head. Ha ha ha, very funny. Anyways, we're still stuck right now, aren't we? He reminded Mordred. Mordred grumbled for a bit as she was rubbing her head. I know. Soon, both Shirou and Mordred continued to think on what to give to Arturia and her counterparts as a gift for Arturia and her counterparts. So we can't get them stuffed lion plushies since they've already received them as a gift from Mother, and we can't offer them food since they receive large amounts of Mother's cooking every day, which makes them satisfied. I wonder what should Mordred get for Arturia and her counterparts? Any of those options would be good if I didn't use them already. What should Mordred get? After many minutes of thinking, Shirou and Mordred turned to each other. Do you have anything in mind, Mother? Nope. Do you have anything in mind? Me neither. Shirou let out a sigh of defeat. Well, looks like we're stuck at square one. Oh really? A new voice said from behind them. Both Shirou and Mordred nearly jumped at hearing the new voice from behind them. As they turned around, they saw Irisveal, who was looking at them with a smile on her face. Mom? Grandmother? Irisveal waved her hands. Hi Shirou. Hi Mordred, she said happily. Mordred let out a small sigh of relief. Geez grandmother, quit scaring us like that. You nearly gave us a heart attack. Irisveal let out a giggle. Anyways, I suppose that you two were thinking of a gift for Father's Day, correct? Shirou and Mordred nodded in reply. Yeah. And right now, we're stuck on what to get for Arturia and her counterparts because, well, I've already exhausted my options on what to give to her. Irisveal giggled again. Oh really? Shirou and Mordred's eyes widened upon hearing Irisveal's words. You know something, Mom? Shirou asked. Yeah. Well, what is it? Spit it out. Mordred yelled impatiently. Fufu, well, let me tell you this. Arturia and her counterparts have a secret passion they want to do, but the problem is that Chaldea doesn't offer anything like it. Huh? What do you mean by that? What kind of secret passion are you talking about? If there was a secret passion she and her counterparts have, me, the Knights of the Round, and Mother would have found out a long time ago. What is it? Mordred asked. Irisveal was silent for a moment before saying her answer. Well, it's motorcycle riding. Both Shirou and Mordred were surprised at Irisveal's words. Motorcycle riding? They asked in unison. Yeah. From what I know, Arturia and her counterparts wanted to ride a motorcycle ever since Arturia and her altered counterparts' experiences with riding motorcycles. Even the Lancer counterparts wanted to ride motorcycles too, despite having horses as well. Wow, that's unexpected, Shirou said. You can say that again. I didn't expect father and her counterparts would like something like that. Well, you know what they say, life is a box of chocolates. You can never know what you're gonna get, Irisville said happily. Anyways, I have somewhere to be now, so see you two later. Also, Shirou, get a gift for your father please. Even though if he keeps saying he doesn't want a gift, give him one nevertheless. And in case, what you're wondering what he likes, here's a hint, she said as she handed Shirou a note. Shirou then grabbed the note and looked at it, his eyes widened upon reading it. You're kidding me. Shirou. Irisville yelled, snapping him out of his thoughts. Shirou let out a small sigh. I will, Mom. Good. See you later, Shirou. You too, Mordred. Irisville said as she left Shirou and Mordred alone. Shirou quickly put the note back into his pocket. I can't believe my old man would want something like this. So, motorcycles, huh, well, at least we know what we could get for father and her counterparts. Although how are we going to get motorcycles? I think Chaldea doesn't sell those, and we can't ask that servant who keeps saying golden to borrow his motorcycle. What are we going to do? Shirou was silent for a moment before saying something to Mordred. About that, Mordred, leave that to me, he said with a smirk. BZZ. BZZ. Arturia let out a yawn as she woke up from her sleep. As she was rubbing her eyes, she noticed something shocking that was in her room. It was a white Kawasaki Ninja 400 motorcycle. Arturia looked with marvel at the motorcycle that just appeared in front of her. Wow, a motorcycle. How long has it been since I've seen or ride on one? But how did it get here? And who sent it here? And why? As Arturia continued to examine the motorcycle, it was then she noticed an enclosed envelope on the seat of the motorcycle. She then began to open it. Inside the envelope was a small note which said, Hey father. This may sound a bit awkward, but, Happy Father's Day. I've heard from grandmother that you once rode a motorcycle and that you liked it and wanted to enjoy it again. So, me and mother came up with giving you a motorcycle for Father's Day. And in case if you're wondering, we also gave the same gift to your counterparts as well, only with different colors. From, Mordred. Arturia let out a small smile after reading the note. Thank you, Mordred, and thank you Shirou for helping as well, she thought happily as she put the note back into the envelope. She then continued to examine the motorcycle with great interest. Now then, I should ask Da Vinci to make a racetrack later. Soon, Arturia prepared herself for today and was bringing out the motorcycle from her room. As she did, she saw the faces of Shirou and Mordred, who were waiting for her with smiles on their faces, making Arturia slightly blush. Well, do you like the gift, father? Mordred asked. Arturia let out a small sigh of relief before saying her answer. Yeah. Thank you, you too. She replied with a smile on her face. How did you do it? Well, ask mother for that, Mordred replied. Arturia then turned to Shirou. Shirou, how did you do it? Well, let's just say, I'm able to project mostly anything now, Shirou replied. I see, now then, shall we move on? I want to try this out as soon as I can. Shirou let out a smile. As you wish. Let's head over to Da Vinci and see if, well, I can ask her to create a racetrack, he said as he began to walk in the hallway. And in the process, I'll have to do more work for her. Soon, Arturia and Mordred began to walk along with Shirou. As they did, Mordred asked Shirou a question. "Hey mother, there is one question that's been on my mind for quite a while." "Sure. What is it?" "Well, what did you give grandfather as a gift for Father's Day?" Shirou let out a sigh. "Well, boo." It was then they heard a giant explosion in the distance. Both Arturia and Mordred were alarmed and immediately headed towards the source of the explosion, with Shirou following them. They eventually reached the source of the explosion, which was Chaldea's testing room. As the three arrived at the testing room, they saw Kiritsugu, who was holding a rocket launcher. "Hey Shirou. Thanks for the new rocket launcher." Both Arturia and Mordred looked in shock before turning to Shirou. Shirou/mother, did you give him that?" they asked, in unison. Shirou sighed again. "Again, that was Mom's idea."